change in 100. 93.9 to okay.
93.9, your remedy dial. Keep it 93.9.
Good evening, everyone, from the Allianz Arena in Munich. What a Champions League round of 16, second leg we have for you. Attention, is everybody ready? Screams the headline in Germany's famous football magazine Kicker. Time for champions, it read earlier this week. We are more than just Mbappe, came the reply from L'Équipe, the French equivalent. And in those words lies the key to this match, of course. Flat and sterile without Mbappe for 57 minutes in the first leg, 1-0 defeat. Xiaobu into Verratti, dangerous border play in there. Here's Goretzka, square Choupo-Moting. A mistake at the back, and Paris Saint-Germain are punished. And Bayern Munich are 2 goals to the good in the tie. Cancelo, Gnabry. That puts it to bed. Serge Gnabry off the bench makes it 2-0 on the night to Bayern Munich. 3-0 on aggregate. Thomas Müller celebrates. They're in the quarterfinals again. The mighty, indestructible Bayern Munich on this ground. And overall in the tie, they are deserved winners.
Well, that's a really top-class finish.
2-0 on the night, 3-0 on aggregate.
Okay, so following that defeat for PSG against Bayern, Kylian Mbappe has come out to say that now we will have to focus on the French League on. With that, we welcome you to Kick-Off Sports Show this morning, the first half of the AM update. My name is Oladapo Kunubi, aka Young Striker 9. Favorite Lorentala is also here this morning. Good morning to you.
Well, good morning to you, everyone. It's a beautiful morning. It's a beautiful Thursday. How have you been? Welcome to Kick-Off Sports Show.
Why are you feeling down? Is it because PSG is out of the UEFA Champions League?
I was never a PSG fan.
I'm just, did I say that's your team? I said, is it because PSG?
If you ask me that question, you're asking if because
I asked you a question. I don't know, maybe you placed a bet on PSG.
No, why would I place a bet on PSG?
So that's what you should answer.
They've been performing woefully, so why would I place a bet on PSG?
Okay, so we look at UEFA Champions League stories on the show this morning. Same as Europa League, same as Europa Conference League games going down tonight. Well, we look at the CAF Champions League clash. The game where Rivers United will be in action as well on the continent. Well, their game got rescheduled to this today. They were meant to play their game yesterday against Motema Painbay in the CAF Confederations Cup. All right, now let's quickly look at updates coming from the world of tennis and the NBA this morning, where Rod DeSantis, the governor of Florida, has appealed to the United States presidential Biden to overturn a ban which will see Novak Djokovic miss this month's Indian Wells and Miami Open tournament. The world #1 remains unvaccinated against COVID-19 and submitted a request for special permission to play in the 2 ATP Masters 1000 event in the US, with Miami set to start in under 2 weeks. However, the Serbian has already been forced to withdraw from Indian Wells after his request was denied by American officials. I mean, I keep saying it. Rules are rules.
Novak Djokovic makes me laugh and makes me smile.
Like Djokovic is a joker.
He's a joker, like a real joker. It happened to you last year. You're expecting to get away with it again this year. Definitely you will not get away with it next year.
Okay, but now getting away from that story, let us quickly look at updates coming from games ongoing at different quarter centers across the globe. Remember the Indian Wells Masters ATP 1000 for games for those who are through to the next round of the competition. Jiri Lehecka, Diego Schwartzman, Jordan Thompson, Alejandro Tabilo, Togian Liu won their games in the wee hours of today. More games to go down. Jack Draper against Leandro Riedi by 8 o'clock tonight, as we also have Marquez McDonald taking on Filip Krajinovic at same time. We have Alexander Vorshik against Wawrinka. Moving away from that, Andy Murray will also be in action by 11 o'clock tonight against Thomas Ashevari. But looking at other games, we have the Aya Turkey ATP Challenger also going down by 9:05 today. Lugano Tournament ATP Challenger in Switzerland. It is more about picking points and also moving on your understandings right there in the ATP rankings. But let's go straight to the NBA this morning.
Well, the first story for the NBA is about Kevin Durant, who will undergo an MRI after injuring his ankle prior to his anticipated home debut for the Phoenix Suns on Wednesday, where Durant was ruled out of the game after slipping awkwardly and spraining his left ankle during the warm-ups. But the Suns won 132 points to 101 over the Oklahoma City Thunder in Durant's absence, with Devin Booker scoring 44 points. That was good for them there.
I just feel for Kevin Durant, this man, is injury prone. The likes of Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, LeBron James. Yes, when you play too much games, you also need to see how you select games as well and know how to manage your body. But now let's also look at Zion Williamson, who's also an injury-prone player, where the wait for Zion Williamson's return from a right hamstring strain continues, with New Orleans Pelicans announcing he will miss at least the next 2 weeks. Williamson has not played since January 2 due to injury, and the Pelicans have slipped down on 10th to the 10th position in the Western Conference with a 31 win to a 34 losses record in his absence. Now, let's look at games decided and for some games to be played in the world of NBA. For games decided in the wee hours of today.
The Washington Wizards lost against Atlanta Hawks 120 points to 122 points, while Boston Celtics ruled over Portland Trail Blazers 115 points to 93 points. It was a good one for Cleveland Cavaliers as they defeated Miami Heat 104 points to 100 points. New Orleans Pelicans gave you that earlier against Dallas Mavericks 113 to 106. Denver Nuggets lost against Chicago Bulls 96 points to 117. Phoenix Suns, Oklahoma City Thunder 132 to 101. LA Clippers clipped the wings of Toronto Raptors 108 points to 100 points.
Okay, now moving away from basketball this morning, let us go straight talk football, where we look at updates coming from the Flying Eagles camp. We also look at the UEFA Champions League, same as look at Arsenal in the Europa League. Gabi Martinelli has been talking about his former, and Gabriel Jesus, who has made a return to the team. We'll also get reaction from Manchester United. Remember, Bruno Fernandes, a lot of people have been talking about him, and he was able to skip a sanction after the 7-0 bashing from Liverpool. Do not go anywhere.
Welcome back. Let's talk about football at this moment. It's the Flying Eagles camp update right now, as they had their first training on Wednesday evening since the 0-1 semi-final loss to Gambia in the ongoing AFCON Under-20 tournament in Egypt. The session took place at the 30th June Stadium training ground in the Egyptian capital city of Cairo, and in a bid to secure the podium finish and end the tournament on a high, the under-20 men's team trade tackles with the junior Eagles of Tunisia. Hopefully we get the third place spot for this next match.
Well, it depends on them. When you go for tournaments, stop telling us that you've achieved your aim. That's why I will always say that. I mean, for Ron Waldrum, who's the coach of the Super
Super
Falcons,
Falcons.
saying that if we get to the second round, if we get to the final and come home with the trophy, you are
did-
getting match bonuses.
Can he hear you? That's the thing. Doesn't
Yes,
know
he's
what
watching
you're
live
saying.
on Facebook.
Remember?
Yes, they can listen. They can download our app on Google Play Store, jump on our Facebook and YouTube platform, Solutions 939 FM.
No,
I mean,
Google me.
to see what is happening
It's
right
really
now.
pained for this
No,
team.
I'm not
actually.
happy because you had that aim of getting to the quarterfinal round. I mean the last four, and saying that is the aim of the team. And at the end of the day, these same players and the team will come out to say that NFF failed to pay their match bonuses. They failed to do this.
The big question here is when they got to the quarterfinal, why couldn't the London Boston push their team to aim for the first position?
Because it is more about titles now. I mean, I understand what you're saying. So we need to change our orientation, change the orientation of the players. That is why it's very hard for some players to perform at the global stage. Because you look at some players when they feel like they've qualified for Champions League, that's the only thing, and it's the money for the group stage that they are looking for, and not getting to the final. Because when you get to the final, you have some agents that will come watch your games. I mean, you get better offers than you playing in second division, third division. Look at Alex Iwobi struggling with Everton, Paul Onuachu coming to Southampton, playing with a team that is struggling. I mean, it is more of having better positions at the end of the day. But let's just move away from that. There's someone here that is we spoke about Kylian Mbappe now. I mean, after he saw how
Bayern
Munich bashed PSG. Now it has to focus on the French League on. But now let's talk about Antonio Conte this morning.
Well, Antonio Conte believes Tottenham have taken a step forward this season despite the final chance of silverware being ended by Milan. That was yesterday.
I think, and for sure, the game against in FA Cup was really bad. The players know very well that we missed a big chance to continue to stay and to fight for a trophy. And today, I think, in this type of game, there is a big difference. The opponent. Today, you played against Milan, that last season won the league in Italy, and we are talking about a big team with a big story, with a great team. And I think that we can do comparison about these two defeats. The reality that we are out from FA Cup and now from Champions League. And what I can say you that we are working to try to improve and to go step by step.
Antonio Conte speaking there. Now look at Tottenham Hotspur. This team is fourth on the Premier League log with 45 points from 26 matches. In their last 5 games, they won 3 and they lost 2. And look at their position. Look at the team behind them. That is Liverpool, that's got 42 points. And the next game for Liverpool is a game against Nottingham Forest. Look at Nottingham Forest. This team that has been battling relegation is now 14th on the Premier League log with 26 points from 25 matches, meaning they've won 6 matches, drawn 8 and lost 11. So what they need to do is now to focus on the Premier League. Look at how they can finish and return to the UEFA Champions League come next season. But let's just quickly also let you know what went down in the UEFA Champions League last night. Tottenham, they played out goalless. So not that they lost at home, but because they lost the first leg 1-0 against AC Milan, that that's ended the
AC
game.
Milan knew what they were doing. They didn't want the repeat of what happened with was it Manchester United to come to play.
Oh,
The team that came from aggregate to qualify.
I understand. It's just about you winning your first leg and making sure that you tie the second leg. That was what AC Milan did. But let's just move away from the UEFA Champions League this morning and let's talk about the Europa League. And for the Europa League, well, it's starting afresh, right? Most especially tonight.
it's about the Europa League. AS Roma will be up against Real Sociedad by 6:45 this evening. Bayer Leverkusen will be up against Ferencváros.
Villas Ferencváros.
Yes, Sporting CP will take on first place on the Premier League table. Arsenal.
Okay, now talking about Arsenal, Gabi Martinelli has been one of the fantastic players for the Gunners, and he has been talking about the form of the team, same as Gabriel Jesus returning, and how they can hold on to the top position and see maybe they can go with doubles at the end of the season.
Keep on working hard. I mean, I always try to do my best on and off the pitch, and that's what I did. Just kept working hard. For sure, a big one. He's a great guy, a great guy. And a great player. I've said it many times. For me, he's one of the best in the world, and yeah, for sure, he's gonna help us a lot in the last few months. Well, of course, if you play for Arsenal, you need to go into every competition to win, and that's our mentality. We play against the Sporting tomorrow, and we go there to win.
Well, we wish Arsenal good luck in that particular game. We now.
I hope you will not get disappointed at the end of the day.
I'm not getting. It's not about disappointment.
Please move ahead.
We don't want to maintain the top spot at the same time. You know, last year or last season, everyone was shouting, Europa level, Europa level. Now they are Champions League. Please, I beg. Well, still 6:45 today. Union Berlin will take on Royal Union SG, while Juventus Freiburg will be by 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock today also, Manchester United will take on Real Betis, while we have Sevilla taking on Fenerbahce. Shakhtar Donetsk also by 9 o'clock today, we're taking on Feyenoord.
Okay, so those are the fixtures of games of the Europa League scheduled for tonight. And well, as we wrap up the show this morning, we've got games of the Europa Conference League. AEK Larnaca will be up against West Ham United. Villarreal taking on Anderlecht. Sheriff Tiraspol hosting Nice, as Basel hosts Slovan Baristas Vala, as Fiorentina will be in Italy hosting Turkish side Sivasspor. Ghent host Başakşehir, as Lech Poznan will be up against Djurgården. Well, check the time right now. This is 9:16, and we'll move to the other side of the show this morning, where we look at headlines on the pages of Nigerian newspapers. Yes, well, remember, it is now March 18th for the governorship and National Assembly, state houses of assembly elections. So, but unfortunately, for those of you who have your wedding on 18th of March,
sorry, postpone it.
Good morning.
Keep it 93.9.
For this Naija wey we dey so, say you no hold cash no mean say wahala dey o. You wan send money to Male for Villa, just use Momo. You wan buy recharge card or data, just use Momo. You wan pay for market wey you buy, just use Momo. You fit use Momo run plenty things without cash, as long as you get Momo account. No cash, no wahala, and e dey easy to open o. Just dial *671# to open Momo account. Set your PIN, transfer money from your bank account inside your Momo account. Make you fit dey pay for anything, send and receive money sharp because life dey simple with Momo.
Ìrírí ṣàgbọ́dọ̀ nífẹ̀ẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ kò ṣeé fowó ra làwọn àgbà fi ní ẹni tó bá mọ̀nà ló tọ́ ló sì yẹ ká tẹ̀lé torí irú ẹni bí ò ní gbé wa wọgbó kò sì ní fẹ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ mọ́ pàlàpàlàpà irú ẹni bẹ́ẹ̀ nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ nílò. Ní báyìí ire ti dé sípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́, àdúrà wa ti gbà, Ọlọ́run ti mú Sẹ́nitọ̀ Teslim Kọ́láwọlé Fọlárìn TKF dé, ẹni tọ́rọ̀ ìlú àti ìṣèlú yé ni. Ìlọsíwájú ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló jẹ́ lógún. Bí mẹ̀kúnnù ó ṣe ráyè rọrùn gbé nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ láfojúsùn rẹ̀. Ìrírí rẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin àgbà l'Ábùjá ti jẹ́ kó mọ gbogbo ibi tó ti lè mú ìdàgbàsókè wá sípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Ẹ̀kọ́ ọ̀fẹ́ tòótọ́, ìwòsàn ọ̀fẹ́ tí ò lákùdé, iṣẹ́ aláṣẹlà lọ́pọ̀ yanturu, ìdàgbàsókè iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ ohun ìgbèríko rẹpẹtẹ. Sẹ́nitọ̀ Teslim Kọ́láwọlé Fọlárìn ló lè ṣe é nínú ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú onítẹ̀síwájú APC. Torí náà tó bá dijọ́ òbò Sẹ́nitọ̀ Teslim Kọ́láwọlé Fọlárìn ni ẹ dìbò fún. APC lẹ́gbẹ́ wa, òṣìṣẹ́ ọ̀wọ̀ làmí ẹ̀ ibẹ̀ ni ẹ tẹ̀ka sí. Amòfin Lọ́wọ́ Òbíṣẹ̀san ló ń kéde.
The newsreader as a presenter is a major source funnel of his organization. Poor unprofessional presentation by the newsreader therefore may lead to loss of stations and presenters' image, loss of the listener, and loss of advertising revenue. It is for this reason that TSV Media Consult organizes a one-day newsreaders masterclass for hands-on newsreaders and prospective newsreaders on the 25th March 2023 at Course Space, TDL House, number 4, Shosame Road, the new GRA Ibadan. Time is 9 a.m. For more inquiries, please call Charles on 0815-863-9668, Rotimi on 0826-628-6169, and Ade Damola on 0703-124-6159.
Registration 10,000 naira.
Newsreaders Masterclass 2023. Your sure platform for niche broadcasting.
News, sports, entertainment. Top 100 music on your Remedy Radio dial. Solutions 93.9.
Do not touch that dial.
Okay, it's 9:20 from Solutions 93.9 FM. My name is Adi Damola Lafenwa, and it's another edition of From the Dailies on AM Update. And I've got the Punch and the Vanguard newspapers with me this morning.
And my name is Favor Oloruntola. Thanking God that AM Update was not postponed. It's 9:22 right here from a Remedy Radio Dial Solutions 93.9 FM. And I was saying that I was happy that AM Update is live this morning. Well, from my end, I'll be taking stories from the Nation newspaper and also from the Nigerian Tribune. And that is going to be one of the papers. But Adedamola Lafenwa will be taking other stories this morning. I didn't have the chance to say happy new day to you when you sat beside me this morning.
Okay, good morning, Favor. It's a beautiful Thursday morning, and this is the last edition you and I will be taking this week on AM Update. And why is that for frowning?
Why are you people making it sound like someone wants to resign?
No, I said it. I said this is the last edition. Favor and
Both of us
will be doing this week.
What's going to happen next week?
We said, anyway, it can be postponed actually. Let's continue. Well, there was a notice from Oyo State yesterday, and it's all about the Accord Party. And we had the leaders and elders of Accord State, across the 33 local government, giving their well wishes to Seyi Makinde. But there was a dissolving of the excos from the headquarters of Accord, and it's been like a roller coaster. You know, we were talking about something yesterday about the Labour Party forming an alliance with other parties, and I mentioned something to Dr. Cornerstone, asking if this alliances had happened during the presidential election, if there must have been a better result for the nation.
I think such things will be expected, but regarding the Accord Party, it's been debunked, and the notice came out, and I would like to read the notice, and all the leaders and elders of Accord across the 33 local government councils of Oyo State hereby wish to inform the good people of Oyo State and all lovers and admirers of Accord Party and its candidates that our party, Accord, has no working agreement with neither Governor Seyi Makinde nor Senator Teslim Folari on the coming governorship elections. Our governorship candidate and all the state assembly candidates are going to contest the March 11, now which has been postponed
to March
18 election, and that the good people of Oyo State are solidly behind Oloyi Adebayo Adelabu to win the governorship and the state assembly elections. Okay, we therefore appeal to all our members and general public to disregard this wicked and unfounded rumor. This is the work of those who are now G3 of Adelabu's popularity and acceptance by the good people of Oyo State. Okay, I think that settles it.
That settles it. Now let's move over to the headlines for today. The Nation newspaper from my end says, Rivers Rep arraigned for alleged money laundering, and scarcity of cash stocks resumption of worry, Itakpe train service. And also crisis rocks Rivers LP ahead of governorship pose. Lagos SDP deputy governor candidate defects to APC. CBN orders bank to collect old 500 and 1,000 naira notes. This morning I was in the public transport, and there was someone that had the old 1,000 naira note with her, but she wasn't allowed into the Marua this morning. I was like, this is getting very interesting. Well, Abuja banks start accepting old notes. PDP self-destructed by dumping zoning, says Wiki. Former Imo deputy governor arrested. And that's all for the Nation newspaper.
Okay, yeah, I'm taking my first shot at the Punch newspaper, and I'll take the cap headlines first. Naira Buhari can be prosecuted after May 29, says SAN. You find that story on page 7 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Companies' consumers' taxes rise 42%. NBS. Long fuel queues ground Abuja neighboring state. You find that story on page 23. And another one from the cap headlines. It says National Assembly female membership drops as 11 lose re-election. That's not so good one, most especially when we celebrated the International Women's Day yesterday, and then this coming up saying the National Assembly female membership has dropped as 11 members lose re-election bid. That means they won't be going back to the National Assembly. Now, going straight to the banner headline on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning, INEC shift governorship assembly polls by 1 week, and riders to that. Commission says despite ruling 176,000 machines can't be reconfigured before Saturday. And another one says election materials distribution disrupted in Delta, Osun, Bayelsa, Cross River, others. Moving further, I have this one that says Niger terrorists kill 5 villagers, abduct 53. Still from the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. I have this one, roadblock, robbers attack Punchman as soldiers extort Ogun motorist. And the last one says Dogowa left out as reps elect get certificates of return. These are some of the headlines on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning.
All right, moving over to the Nigerian Tribune, where we see the same headline from INEC, shifting the governorship state assembly post by 1 week. But with all other stories from the front page here, Tinubu inaugurates Olanik Bekun, 49 others, SANs to defend mandate. And Presidential National Assembly polls failed to comply with Electoral Act at Feni Ferry. CBN issues operational guidelines on open banking. one killed, multi-millionaire million naira businesses lost as fire raises Lagos auto spare parts market. And also, Oyo Accord leadership endorses Makinde. That has been debunked. And Gazama adds Atiku's 19-man legal team to challenge presidential poll outcome. Atiku says electoral fraud by INEC will be reversed. Old closed door meeting with IBB Abdul Salami. Court gives INEC nod to reconfigure beavers as grants Tinubu Obi permission to inspect election materials.
Okay, still talking about the beavers issue. Taking this from the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, and it's a banner headline that says Beavers INEC shifts Guber Assembly polls to March 18. And a rider to that needs 5 days to reconfigure 176,000 beavers machines. Confusion heralds postponement. And another one from the front page, it says Buhari to Nigerians in diaspora. FGM placed credible polls. You find the story on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. Fix beavers glitches before governorship assembly polls. NBA tells INEC. Court okays INEC's request to reconfigure beavers. Another one says, my life now in grave danger. Abia Rec cries out. You find the story on page 11. And the last one I'll be taking from the front page of the Vanguard newspaper this morning says, workers' welfare, labor, emo, government flex muscles. You find the story on page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
Okay, while we were taking the headlines, our analyst walked into the studio this morning, the president of Comrade Olu Omotosho. It's a pleasure to have you here with us this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. All right, so yesterday there was this news from INEC that the governorship election has been postponed by 1 week. And that's because there must be a reconfiguration of the beavers. I saw the press release from yesterday. I will want to go through it a little bit so that we can all see the reason or know the reason why this was done yesterday night. So this is from the rescheduling of governorship and state houses of assembly elections. Following today's ruling by the Presidential Electoral Petition Tribunal, EPT, on the reconfiguration of the bimodal voter accreditation system beavers used for the presidential election held on 25th February 2023, the Commission met to assess its impact on the Commission's preparations for the governorship and state houses of assembly elections scheduled for Saturday, 11th March 2023. There was also something about Nigerians recalling that 3rd March, February 2023, the presidential EPT had given an ex parte order, and it goes on and on and on and on to give us the reasons. And there was a numbers of beavers that was given to us that must be configured in the space of 8 days or thereabout that it can be. Now, let's look at it. Should this have impacted the postponement? Should it have been an excuse to postpone the March 11? As of yesterday, people were just so happy that the Saturday election is coming, and by next week, we'll be seeing cash. Now that we have 1 more week on our hands
to endure
again, now, Corey, don't know what I'm showing.
Actually, probably I should start by
it's
saying,
laughing.
Did this postponement, did it come to you as a shock, or something you envisaged?
Well, it didn't come to me as a shock anyway, because I have actually become a Nigerian, a full-blooded Nigerian. So most of the things that happen that get some people wondering and that bewilder them they don't really move me anymore, because my mind is like there is nothing that cannot happen in Nigeria.
So when they happen, as a Nigerian, we should expect the unexpected at all times.
Exactly. So in Nigeria, if you want to live by shock, you most probably will need to cut your life short yourself. So just assume, just take everything that comes. Just take it just like, well, that's the way. Just open your mind and be expectant of anything. So that's
I personally, comrade, as at yesterday, I was looking forward to Saturday, seeing that there might be cash all over Nigeria after Saturday. Yesterday, I was literally stranded in the office. I couldn't leave. What's the fate of Nigerians now? That what if INEC even comes up next week Saturday and says there is another postponement again after March 18th?
No, you see, it's just that in our parlance in Yoruba land, they say the day of the death of the old man is closer than when he was born. So 1 week postponement now, we don't have a choice. We just need to abide by it. Now, in all honesty, when you look at it, from the beginning of this week, I have been expecting it, because INEC has about 180,000 beavers machines, and of a fact, they need to reconfigure. They need to reset it, because the same one that they used for the last election now already have accreditation on it.
Okay.
So if they are taking it for another election, it has to be reset. They have to clean everything that is on it, so that new accreditation will come.
Okay, I think I like the way you took it from now. Now there's been some speculations and some quotas that recently we had the Labour Party and the PDP going to the court asking for permission, the court to grant them permission to inspect the materials used for the last election, which the beavers also are included. Now, it's believed that why would INEC rush to the court to seek a permission to reconfigure? Because it's believed that when these beavers are being reconfigured, the data which the LP and the PDP are probably looking at least to get to the root of the matter, whether something went wrong during the election, would have been wiped out. What's your take on that?
As an IT person, let me just explain the way these things work.
Okay, please do.
You see, where you have the machine already have some data on it.
Okay.
So, and that's the reason why this campaign was going on before the elections. That make sure that the PU, that's the polling officer, when it comes, let him show you the beavers, and be sure that what the value that you have on it is zero, that there is nothing on it. So right now, because accreditation had been done for the presidential and the other elections, there are data on it already. So if you take it there, you cannot take it there and then begin to start, to accredit other people, because you already have them there.
Okay.
And of course, there are going to be a lot of conflict there, because the same people that voted the last time will go there to vote now. That means, they will have people, registering and then getting accredited twice. So they have to be cleared. Okay. But you see, the way things, it's just that in Nigeria, things are so complex. Complexity comes into so many things. Those machines are cloud-based.
Okay.
Now, whether they are cleared or not, the data that are on those machines, you can still have it. You can still retrieve them from the cloud.
Yes, it's written on the press release also.
Yes, you can still get them from there. But it's just that in Nigeria, take for instance, in the case of Osun, the figure that they brought from the server shows clearly that there were overvoting.
Okay.
And then at a point they said, okay, let's go and consult the beavers machine. And when they got to the beavers machine, there was no overvoting.
Okay.
So that's where I said complexity comes into things in Nigeria. But I think what they need to do is just make sure that they get the figures, the right figures, either from the beavers or from the cloud, and then let INEC sign it as CTC. Then it becomes a legal document that can be turned out. So if anybody is suspecting INEC that this, you won't blame anybody. You can't blame them, because INEC has really proven to us that they cannot be totally trusted.
Okay. I think I would like to thank you for at least straightening that aspect out. Now, talking about this postponement now, what do you feel it will be that the effect on Nigerians and even the politicians, the candidates?
Well, it's going to change some things. Because now, if the election were to be held on this Saturday, now some people had been convinced by the various candidates to vote for them. Now, and of course, that will have worked for their advantage. But now that the election had been postponed, now there is this likelihood that for a change of mind, that the people that had agreed to vote for candidate A, by Saturday, they might have gotten convinced to say, look, don't vote for him again, come and vote for party B. Now, that is likely. Then it's going to be, I mean, a lot of, it's going to, that's additional cost to the candidates too.
To the candidates, okay.
Because now that means they have to continue to oil their structures. They have to continue to give money for logistics and all that and whatever. So, and of course, Nigerians, somebody like me, I actually accepted the election to hold yesterday, so that I will just get past it and like Favour is saying, so that I'll be able to, we'll be able to get cash.
Because that has been the belief of people.
Yeah, but then we don't have a choice now. It's been postponed. It's been postponed. Nothing can happen. So we just need to endure it. That's another week of hardship.
Now, going back to the postponement and the INEC saying that the postponement was based on the fact that they need to reconfigure the beavers, does it amount to the fact that INEC wasn't really fully prepared for this election?
Well, I think maybe because
I feel there must have been provisions that, okay, after the first election, we'll use these days before fixing March 11 initially for the next election.
Yeah, really, if they were fully organized, I mean, they ought to have started the reconfiguration maybe. I mean, after 3 days.
The election was like
3
2
days
weeks
after
ago.
the election, yes. So, and by now they will have, I mean, they should be done with it. But somehow, I don't know why they are waiting, and that's the reason why everybody is suspecting them that they want to clear evidences, because that ought to have been done before now.
Okay, let's look at the itches of the beavers during the February 25 presidential election and the National Houses of Assembly. If we look at it, the National Assembly, beg your pardon, there was network issues. Results were not posted to the IREV. A lot of things happened during that time.
Voters couldn't be recognized
and accredited during that. Now, let's take that 8-week or 8-day window. You think that most of these issues must have been corrected before the governorship election?
Well, I'm not sure anything could be done on that. So, because you see, the problem with the beavers is not INEC issue. It has to do with our network. It has to do with our broadband generally, and that's the same way. Even money transfer and all that, we are using the same broadband. We are using the same network. So now you could make some transfer now, and then you'll have gone to sleep before you get a lot that has been done. And sometimes you transfer money and it doesn't even get there, and it's not returned back to your account.
It happened to me yesterday.
So a lot of things. Sometimes you want to make call, without you are not making transaction. You just want to make call and it's not there. The phone is beside you and it's telling you that the phone is turned off. So that's something that had to do with the network, the bandwidth, and the infrastructure, the backbone we are using. So, but then I want to believe that if we have proper preparation, and because on Saturdays, on the days of election, most corporations are closed. So most of the organizations that use this bandwidth, that draw bandwidth, will be off.
Okay.
I mean, so now it's that we should be able to get something better. But if we are looking at something superficial, in improvement, it won't be this year. Maybe next election.
Okay, Favour, I don't know if you still want to talk about beavers, but I think I really want to move to this thing that affects you and I, and then probably Comrade Olumotoso, that is about the scarcity of cash. It's going to be a week tomorrow where the Supreme Court made the judgment that the old 500 Naira notes and the 1,000 Naira notes remain legal tenders, which I personally was expecting that by Monday, things would have eased out by itself. But as at this morning, there are people besieging these banks. And the most ridiculous things I heard yesterday and still hear till this morning, that even getting to these banks, you can't have access to more than 5,000 naira. That is the most you can get from any bank. The bank I went to yesterday, they were offering 2,000 naira each. I mean, what is happening there? Is there a kind of a hide and seek game? The federal government hasn't come up to say anything concerning the judgment.
The CBN
Neither the
governor
CBN
is
too.
mute.
And Nigerians are just left in the dark.
You see, that's the problem we have in this country had to do with the way we operate. We have individuals that are stronger and bigger than institutions. We do not have institutions that are working. Now, if we have institutions that are working, the Supreme Court sat and then gave a ruling. That's the highest court in this land. Now, there is nowhere you can appeal to. If it were to be an appeal court, now Central Bank or whoever might say, okay, we are going to appeal.
We're talking about the Supreme
Court. This is the Supreme Court. You can't appeal to anyone. So what's stopping you? Now, if we have institutions that are working, Emefiele should be behind the bars by now. This is over 1 week that judgment had been given. And do you know, one of the things that the Supreme Court said is that, why are you punishing people? People have money, they put their money in the bank. And they can't have access to it. And you are even telling them that you cannot take more than this. Now, I put my money in the bank.
It's so ridiculous.
And then you are telling me that what I have there, I can't have access to it. I mean, a lot of people should be behind the bar by now if we have institutions that are working. Now, even the president himself had not spoken. But I think yesterday night, I read it somewhere that the central bank has
allowed 500 and 1,000.
Yes.
I was going to that.
Yes.
Is that an official? Because we've been having so many.
If it's on the news,
conflicting.
I read it from I think the Nation newspaper this morning, CBN, saying that 500 naira and 1,000 naira should be accepted back by the banks. Because as of yesterday, these old notes were available to people.
Wait, favor should be accepted by the banks, or should be legal tenders to be accepted? I think the most important thing is to be accepted.
This is what the CBN said. No. The CBN said the 500 naira and 1,000 naira should be accepted by banks. As at yesterday, banks were disbursing the old 1,000 naira and 500 naira notes. If it was taken back to the banks, they were not collecting it, receiving it. People would stay at the counter, not accepting, the bank officials were not accepting the old 500 and 1,000 naira notes.
Do you know the interesting thing about what really concerns me is that I'm not even bothered about banks accepting it or not, but the people. You are given one of these old notes. You can't even spend these notes out there.
If banks are not accepting, nobody will take it from you on the streets.
So at least there should be a clarification from the CBN, because I personally feel there's a kind of hide and seek game going on.
Well, wasn't this hide and seek? Because I remember the last adjournment from the Supreme Court was February 22, and then it was adjourned after the presidential election, which I think the governors decided to go to the court to make sure that the citizens were okay before the election. It was adjourned till after the election, and now another election is coming. Really, I still don't see the what's going on in this triangle: the Supreme Court, the CBN, and the presidency.
What is going on that you didn't see there? Let me show it to you. It is called impunity. That's what is going on. Because in a healthy democracy, in a society where there is a rule of law, where people live above board, now where people recognize the laws, that there are laws in this land and we must live by it. Now the president should have made a statement after the Supreme Court within 48 hours after that judgment. Now, if the president has spoken about addressing this, then of course the central bank will have nothing other than to run with it. But unfortunately, up until now, the president has not spoken.
The president spoke about the old 200 naira notes being a legal tender.
That's a long time ago.
Most of Nigerians were still not, happy with the decision made by the president.
But they are spending it. Because I went to the bank and to withdraw 10,000 naira, and all they gave me was thinking 200 naira.
200 naira.
Yes, and of course I took it with joy. So if the president has spoken, now all the money that were retrieved from the people into the banks, Now, the banks cannot tell me that all of the money they got back from the people, the old note that they have taken to the central bank. So if they still have it in their vault, if they still have it in the, why are they not dispensing to the people?
Because as we speak, there are so many people at banks, and this has been on since
It's
Monday.
just like that. I went to Bodija 2 days ago, and all the banks along the way, you see, if you see the crowd there, and the ATM, nobody was there.
I was somewhere last night, and people were making jokes that the people there were making jokes that does Emefiele, that the central bank governor, even watch the news on TV and see the kind of the artsy people are going through at these banks just to have access to their own fund. Well, I think we should open the phone lines by now and let them have contributions from our listeners.
All right, 0909 88 89 939 and 0912 22 22 939. 0909 88 89 939 and 0912 22 22 939. Good morning.
Hello, good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let me call from Akuwa.
Okay, Kemi, let's have your take.
It is a shameful thing that at CPT2, Nigeria is still calling, striving to develop as a nation. My question is, when are we going to get it right? When are we going to develop with all that is happening at the moment? Thinking the system driving this nation is faulty. It doesn't care about the negative effect this government we have on the masses today. Let's not forget that INEC had 4 years to prepare for this, and this is what they could deliver. Tell me how this will cost us more. Tell me. I really hope with all this, they will deliver better. They will give us something better compared to what we experienced in this just completed election. Because right now, they are not making it easier for the masses. Good morning, Kemi calling from Akko.
All right, thank you very much, Kemi. Good morning to you.
Hello,
good morning.
How are you?
I'm very fine, thank you. Please, what's your name?
Oladeji is my name.
All right, sir.
How are you doing, please?
We're doing very fine, thank you. Please, your take in 60 seconds.
The basis of this money problem in this country is the incompetence of the president. How can he sit at the head of a nation and somebody brings a policy to you, hook, line, and sinker, and you accept it? And this has affected so many other policies. It means the president does not know. Sincerely, I want to tell you, the president is our problem. And I don't know what legacy we'll be able to point at. How can Emefiele close the door at you in a room and tell you this policy will go and you agree without any constitution? I think the country, everybody, they use everybody in this country. Nobody will forgive him. The next thing will not misbehave if the president is competent. So that's a problem. And thank God we'll be living any time from now. But I don't know what you'll be able to point at has been achieved. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning
Thank
to
you. Very
you.
much.
That was up to take. Good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Kemi from Akko.
Okay, Ruth, let's have your take.
Yeah, thank you. Why do I not to be prepared enough for this election? Because they spend about 300 billion was given to them for this election. I even thought this device is to give us a credible election. So why are we not experiencing all this? Why the configuring? Why did they shift the election because of this device? You all see what happened in Osun State and Ekiti. So why is this? Yes, they told us we are well prepared. So let's repeating also things to be working in Nigeria when we do have litigation after elections. So I will just urge INEC to be on top of their responsibility and do the needful because we want a credible election as promised. That's my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ruth. Okay, you can also drop your comment on our Facebook page, that is Solutions 939 FM.
All right, the numbers to call one more time, 0909 88 89 939 and 0912 22 22 939. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Aziz. I'm calling from Ghana.
All right, Aziz.
Concerning the postponement of election by the INEC, it's highly disappointed because it has affected many people. out of those people that think their wedding ceremony on that day. And this election is, as in many people, I want to urge Nigerians not to remain, because this is our time to decide where for the future of Nigeria. We should come out massively on that day. Any date they fix to cast our vote for a good president. So we should not forget the candidates that left to us when there was flood disasters in other states. So we should let the good government continue. May God help us. Good morning.
Good morning
Good
to
morning.
you. All right, so there was this news from Lagos earlier this morning where we had a train crashing a BRT bus in Lagos. Comrade Motor Show, we seem to be having glitches with our transport system.
Yes, because the regulating agencies handling some of these organizations, these sectors, aren't doing the right thing they should be doing. Now, what happened in Abuja the last time, where a lady was crushed
By
in
a train.
her car by a train, now shouldn't have happened at all. As a matter of fact, in the olden days when when you get to railway crossings, there are gates that will close when the train is approaching. Now, what happened to all of that?
And there are signals. So I
Yes,
remember
there
the
are
bells
signals.
and the horns and
So
everything
what happened to
coming
that?
up.
Now, everywhere now, you see, even in areas that are so clustered, areas that are so busy with traffic and all that, you see a railway crossing there, and there is nothing there. Usually, before we used to have officials that would be standing there.
Yes.
Now, we are not having that. So, and even forget about the rail. Even on the street, on the roads, where you see a lot of drivers. You see people driving, against traffic. You see people just pulling out anyhow because they are too much in a hurry. They want to get as if other people on the road are not, have nothing to do. They have nowhere to go. So I think there is need for us to bring sanity into the way we handle things. And the same thing we see, and that's the reason I tell people, when you blame people who are in government, now you seem to forget that they are from us. Because every Nigeria, everybody in government today, what they are doing, every Nigerian has the potentiality of doing that
Doing the same thing
when they get there. Because it's become an inbuilt thing. We have been built, we have gotten accustomed to it. So if we get that, we will do the same thing. It only takes a few. And that's the reason why you have very few people talking about what you are doing is wrong, in activism and all that. And there's even some of us that call ourselves activists. When we get there, when we get to government, we forget about it. We become even worse than the people that were never agitated for better things. So it's a Nigerian thing. And I think we need a total reorientation. If that could be done, maybe a course could be started even from the primary school to begin to reorientate our children. Even before they get, I think we'll get it better, because it's just like trying to treat symptoms now, because it has become a character. It has become a habit of every Nigerian.
Part of default setting.
Yes. And so I think we need a total reset.
Okay.
So I think that's the only solution, because it is there and it will continue to be there. And of course, there are some people that cannot be touched.
Okay.
And when you talk to them, you say, "Look, you pick up their phone. I'm going to call somebody."
And the person will come to the scene, and then
yeah.
Okay, we have comments on our Facebook page this morning. Let me start with Abiola Motosho at Delike. We still can't access cash. Banks are not opening. No network to make the transfer. And our thoughts were, after the governorship elections, the issue of naira scarcity will end. But it seems nothing is changing. The hardship is much on the masses. After the court judgment on the hold naira note, Mr. President and the CBN governor has not addressed Nigerians, and new notes are not in full circulation.
Olayinka Adetola said, I think the postponement of governorship and House of Assembly election by the INEC is to put measure in place will provide us fair and credible election, because their logistics and their failure in the last general election to transmit the result electronically was highly disappointing. The INEC should walk their talk this time so that we can have trust in them. God bless Nigeria.
All right, so let's take this from Omadi Agdekunle. As regard the postponement of election, I will urge Nigerians not relent and to also come out massively on any date they fix. Wow, and vote for good antecedents, especially here in Oyo State. We should not forget a candidate that rescued us during the COVID-19 made the good governance. Okay. Thank you very much for that comment, Omadi Adekunle there.
Okay, I'd like to thank Comrade Oluwamoto Shaw for being a part of the program today. Thank you very much. We've been able to at least tap some knowledge from your wealth of experience and knowledge too on the program this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Especially, I learned from the way you explained this beaver reconfiguration thing.
And the cloud.
And the cloud thing. Okay, I think our listeners too have been able to pick one or two things from that. And that settles the whatever is going on in our minds at the moment now. Okay, I think that's the wrap. Favor.
Yes, it's a wrap.
Okay, my name is Adida Malalafa, and I'm feeling so excited, just like that Paul was trying to poke nose into what you and I were discussing.
That's the next time we'll be on the show again. Is going to be on Wednesday.
The two of us.
The
together.
2 of us together.
Okay.
That'll be on Tuesday. Enjoy yourself, Adida Malalafa.
I will.
I also
definitely.
enjoyed myself. Good morning to you. My name is Favor. Lawrence. Now the station is Solutions 93.9 FM. Mukajwe comes next.
Keep it 93.9. Solutions 93.9 FM. Àwẹ̀ní àòsòkè Àdó Ìbàdàn. Àwa lọ̀nà àbáyọ.